Welcome to another episode of Invigorate Your Business with George Stroumboulis. On today's episode, I sit down with the ultimate New Yorker by the name of Manny Kess. He has started the Kess Group, which is a VIP host company based in Las Vegas. Manny Kess and his team provide professional athletes, A-list celebrities, Saudi princes, Wall Street people, and even average Joes like myself the most exclusive experiences in Las Vegas and around the world. We're also going to talk to Manny about his various business adventures that he's invested in and just learn about the ins and outs about operating in Las Vegas and where to go, not to go. It's actually a really exciting episode starting now. My name is George Stroumboulis, and I'm extremely passionate about traveling the world, meeting new people, and learning about new businesses. Join me as I sit down with other entrepreneurs to learn about their journeys. This episode of Invigorate Your Business starts now. So we're going to jump in. Oh, and then is there anything we don't want to talk about? Or just whatever, right? This is not, I know very little of you, but through social media, I'm like, all right, this guy's killing it. He's always with people, like big names. But you're so humble, dude.
I mean,
but even when you talk, you're just like, dude, he's just a nice dude, which is probably your number one thing on why people want to work with you. Like, you just get shit done and you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, man. I wasn't expecting, like, that's a good thing. And I'm sure you could turn it on when you need to be a dick too, you know?
I mean, I think we can all be dicks, but
right.
What does it do? At the end of the day, I mean, listen, yes, I'm a New Yorker. When I was younger, I was very to the point and don't waste my time. But as you get older and mature and you go through life, it's all just treat people the way you want to be treated. And good things happen, bad things happen. Take it all with a grain of salt and just keep moving. Amen. You know what I mean? And then look, I'm 46 and I found the love of my life now. You know, it's opportunities.
Yeah.
Timing's important. You've got to be in the right state of mind. I mean, you know.
100%.
So yeah, I don't believe I'll ever change who I am. I've made millions. I've spent millions. I've been very blessed in my career, but I'm still me. You know?
Absolutely.
I have a wide range, and we can talk about this later, but I have a wide range of clients, and I tell them all the same thing. Your pee smells the same as mine. Your poop, same as mine.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't ask you how much money you have. Doesn't ask you where you were raised, whether it was in Europe or in Dubai or in New York or in the ghetto. We're the same. What changes us is our life experiences and what we do with them, right? We all have traumas. We all have had blessings. It's how do you take that moment, good or bad, and what do you do with it?
Absolutely.
And I just believe I'm going to make sure that tomorrow is a better day than today.
Yeah.
And if things go wrong, okay, tomorrow will be better. And if things go great, all right, let's do it again tomorrow. And that's kind of been my mentality, and here we are.
And it's working. So we're rolling. We're going to keep that piece in. Let's just roll right into this, dude.
Right.
So I'm sitting with Manny Kess of the Kess Group, founder, CEO, president, boss man, the maker of all things. Yeah, bathroom everything, right? Jack of all trades. But for those that don't know of the Kess Group, right? Like, when it comes to Las Vegas, you are the guy. Everyone knows Manny or of Manny. You're synonymous with the guy that just gets shit done for people, right? And over the years that you've been there, you've like cream rises, right? And you've just been dealing with more influential, affluential people, professional athletes, celebrities, royal family, high-end business, executives. Like, you've created this incredible place. And just what you were saying before, you've had so many ups and downs in your career, business, personal, and like, to see where you're at today is just very inspiring. So congrats on that.
Thank you so much.
So talk to me, how would you describe the Kess Group?
So we are a full service hospitality company. I've been in Vegas 13 years. So like anyone else, start at the bottom. I worked at a pool as a host for one of the big companies. And a year later, I went on my own, started the Kess Group from nothing. I mean, it was basically, I worked for a company and my goal was to bring people to my venues. And over time, it became difficult because we'll use you as an example. You come to Vegas. You're there for 3 days with your friends, your family, whoever. You want to go and have different experiences. Mm-hmm. Well, if I'm like, hey, you have to go to this one pool every day because that's where I am, you're going to be like, I don't want to go to the same place every day. Hey, you got to go to this nightclub because that's what. So I decided to go on my own because I wanted to take care of the client. I wanted to make sure that whatever you did maximized your time in Vegas and your experience.
Right.
and started, from nothing and slowly built it up. My sister moved out from New York about a year after I started the company, started to help me grow it because as I picked up steam, it was hard. You have 3 or 4 clients in a night going to multiple venues. I couldn't be everywhere at once.
Right.
So she joined me and together we built this company to where now we're one of the largest in all of Vegas. We work with, like you said, anyone and everyone. I mean, we don't discriminate. It could be a couple of college kids that are freshly 21 to heads of state, royalty, professional athletes, corporate executives from A to Z.
Wow.
And our goal is very simple. Treat people the way that we want to be treated. Give them the experience that best suits them because what you like, I might not like. What somebody else likes. So that's probably the biggest challenge is people are like, oh, my cousin went to this place. I want to go there. Well, why? Do you like the same music? Do you guys have the same things that you want to do? Were they here for work, pleasure? What are their goals? So trying to get people to understand that I am an extension of them. Mm-hmm. And once we have a conversation, we can build an itinerary that suits them. That's what separates us from many other people because they want to just get the quick buck or take you to whatever benefits them, not the client. For us, it's the opposite. Right. I'd rather make less money and you have a better time because what are you going to do? A, you'll come back, or B, you're going to refer people to me.
Which I'm sure is a big part of your business is a referral.
13 years in Vegas, I've not spent $1 on marketing. We are strictly word of mouth company.
So how do you go from, and it's not just Vegas, like you do stuff around the world.
Yes, with some of our clientele, we're global concierge for them. So they want to go to Greece over the summer or Saint-Tropez or south of France, wherever, we set them up. They want to go to the Cannes Film Festival, we'll take care of them. New York, LA, Miami, whatever. But we do that for a small percentage of our clients.
Yeah.
I would say 90% of our business is Vegas focused because there's just so much to do and there's so much business there.
Right.
And we have established ourselves as one of the premier companies to do that. And one of the biggest thing about hospitality is your reputation. With our list of clientele, people are like, all right, you guys are doing it right because these people they don't need you.
Right.
So for them to call you and keep coming back, there's a reason. So we focus on what we're good at and there's just a lot of business there. But for that small percentage of clients, when they're like, hey, Manny, I'm going to go to LA and I want to rent a house. I want to do this. I want to go to a dinner. I want to do this event, whatever it might be. Then we take that on and we make sure that they get that same service wherever they might be.
So let me ask you though, when they're calling and it's somewhere out of your comfort zone, right? Hey, I'm going to Indonesia, right? And say you've never been. I know you've been around the world. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that. But say they want to go there. Do you have to review it yourself to give that stamp of approval before you vouch for that person? Or how do you go about even filtering what's a good experience for the home and the flights and the helicopters? And
you're absolutely right. That's what we do. I mean, we have DMCs in many different countries that are local on the ground that we work with.
Sorry, what's a DMC?
A DMC is a company that works in a particular region.
Gotcha.
And so we have relationships globally. So Indonesia, for example, yes, I've been to Bali, I've been here, but depending on what the client, where they want to go in Indonesia and what they want, we'll contact this local company that we have relationships with and say, okay, this is client X, this is what they want. Give me the itinerary, let me review it. And then after I review it and tweak it, then I go to the client and I'll be like, okay, this is what we came up with. This is also the company that we're working with. Take a look at them online.
Right.
If you're comfortable, I'll make the introduction. But yes, we like to be in the whole process because we know what the client likes. And even though it's somebody else who's actually doing it there, it's still our reputation.
Right.
So if it goes wrong, who are they going to blame? And if it goes right, so I try to be, and our staff tries to be as hands-on as much as the client wants.
Right.
Some clients, they just want recommendations. Hey, I want to do X, Y, Z. Tell me what to do. Okay, here you go. Handle it. Others want us from A to Z. From the moment they land till the time they leave, we want you guys with us. So again, everything is customizable, but 13 years in Vegas, 20 years in hospitality because I had restaurants in New York. Before that, I have a pretty good understanding and a very strong network where we make things happen. And when once in a blue moon, I'll get something like, I got a request for the World Cup in Russia.
Oh, okay.
Never been to Russia. I have access to tickets, not a problem, but never been there. Accommodations, it's the World Cup. There, I had to really do it. I spent weeks doing my research and finding out what the best companies were, where my client should stay, what the best car service was,
right.
How to go from here to there. It was not just, I'm going to go online and whoever comes up, oh yeah, good luck. No, because
you're vouching the Kess brand,
I'm vouching the Kess brand, but more importantly, that was a great client who works with me multiple times a year, the last thing I want them to do is go to Russia for the World Cup and have a bad experience.
Right.
And when everything was said and done, not only did they spend a lot of money because it's the World Cup, everything is super expensive, but they loved it. And they're like, wow.
That's incredible.
And now they reached out to us because they want to go to Paris in July. And I'm like, okay. So we've been working on them for the past like almost 2.5 months now to get that. So Paris is a lot easier than Russia.
Right.
Been there many times, we know people there. So, but if I would have messed that up, I'd lose that opportunity all these years later to continue to give them experiences.
Yes.
And, today's day and age, they can just Google, Concierge Paris and probably get 100 companies that would love to help this really high-end client who has tickets to all these events, staying at a 5-star hotel, has PJs lined up. The fact that they call us still.
Big deal.
I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful, but I'm also flattered because it means, okay, man, you're doing something right.
Yeah, of course. And where you started, so you said 13 years ago, you threw everything in, you threw like the towel in New York and said, you know what, I'm starting fresh. You started, like you said, right, from the bottom in Vegas, from this world, right? But you learned the business and everything. Going from an entrepreneur in New York, having your first restaurant in your early 20s, right? Your own boss, managing staff and everything. What was that transition like, going to having bosses and multiple bosses and, about hospitality? What was that transition like?
It was humbling. So I was a millionaire in New York. I had my own businesses. Then the '08 collapse happened. I lost everything in the span of 18 months. I had real estate that I owned, restaurant in Midtown Manhattan, a block away from Trump Tower, on 5th Avenue, 56th Street, a lot of investments. Within 18 months, I lost it all.
Jeez.
We didn't get bailouts like the banks did. So by 2010, I went from being a millionaire with a great income and a great life, living in a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, paying $5,000 rent back then.
Yeah.
Now I don't even know what rent is in New York.
Jeez.
To losing it all. So
sorry, the immigrants are living there now. The illegal immigrants are living in those apartments.
There might be. There might be. There might be. But, from going from 2008, when I was extremely successful, to 2010, I was dead broke and I lost it all. And I was in my early 30s. It was very humbling. But, I'm grateful that my parents instilled an insane work ethic and they taught me that you're always going to have to deal with adversity in life.
Right.
I didn't turn to drugs. I didn't turn to alcohol. I said, you know what? We're going to start over. We're going to do it again.
You had that attitude
That's the attitude I had when I lost it all.
And you knew you would build it back up? Like in your mind?
I knew I was going to be successful. I just didn't know what I was going to do. So as luck would have it, back then, 2010, I knew a New Yorker who had moved to Vegas and had started building a group. And he was like, hey man, come out here. We're growing, we're expanding. We have all these venues that we're running and operating, and we need good people that want to hustle. We want New Yorkers. So I literally flew out to Vegas to interview, but I was like, I'm not moving to Vegas. And I went and I sat with him and he hired me that day. But I knew the guy. He's not like a random person, someone that I knew. And I was like, all right, I like what you're doing. I know you. I know your work ethic. He was a big promoter in New York City, had built a really big company. Then he left it all to go to Vegas and do all these amazing things. So I went for the weekend and ended up staying.
Was Vegas rocking then, like in 2010?
It didn't have all the venues that it has now, but sure. It was busy. It was still growing. City Center where all that didn't exist. A lot of places didn't exist that exist now, but they were still getting 25, 30 million visitors a year. Sure. Now we're up to 60.
Is it that many?
60 million visitors a year. So it's incredible how much has grown in the sports teams. But back then it was still something where people went, loved it, had a lot of fun.
Right.
So I decided, okay, I'm doing this. I went back to New York, packed my suitcases, told my family, hey, I love you guys, but I got a job and I got to start somewhere. And they're like, what do you mean? You're going to start here? I'm like, no, I don't want another restaurant. I don't want 18-hour days anymore. I don't want to deal with this stuff. And I was pissed off because at the time, banks were getting all this money. And I'm like, well, what are we getting?
Yep. Insurance companies,
we're
everything.
Getting stuck with all these crazy increases. So I came out to Vegas and I started at the bottom. I was the entry-level host. So I left New York owning companies and being successful. I moved to Vegas, entry-level.
Yeah.
And
what was your attitude like even at that first position?
It's like, I'm going to kick ass. I'm a freaking New Yorker. I've been working since I was in my early teens. Like, who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
But to answer your question, it sucked because when I moved to Vegas, I moved in 2011. So I was 32 years old when I moved to Vegas.
Right.
And I was working with 25-year-olds. I had supervisors, managers that were 28, 30. These kids didn't know anything about business. They had just gotten there before me.
You're just biting your tongue, eh?
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, okay, half the things that they were telling you are wrong, but they are your superior. So I just sat there and I just worked. I got lucky because I didn't let any of that affect me. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it for a little while. I'm going to have their job in a year.
Right.
And it's crazy because within a year I got promoted, which was unheard of in Vegas at that time. And a few months later, I had a disagreement with some of the management with the company that I worked for, and I went on my own. But I'm still grateful. That person that hired me to this day, I'm grateful. Even though 13 years in Vegas, he and I have never had one dinner or hung out.
Really?
He is the reason I moved there, and he's the reason why I'm still there. So although we're not like friends that hang out, I'm very grateful for that opportunity that he gave me and that he still entrusted me, right? And everything I've done since then has just been blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, people, all of them see, oh, you hang out with this famous athlete. Oh, you hang out with this person. You have a nice car. That means nothing. You don't understand the work and what goes behind it. And
they don't see that.
How much business I've turned down because I just genuinely didn't like the client or they were rude. And I could tell people like, you should write a book. I'm like, I don't want to write a book because I'm not one to share that stuff, but it keeps me grounded because I don't care how much money somebody has or how much money they don't have.
Right.
I'm going to treat everybody with respect. As long as you do the same, we're going to get along fine. I don't strictly hang out and spend time or work with super wealthy. The reality is that's the clientele that wants this type of service. But again, no marketing. It's not like I go to the Rob Report and I'm like, hey, give me your clients. No, people hear about us and they contact us. But I have 21-year-old clients. Hey man, my brother, older brother told me about you. He came to Vegas and you hooked him up. And they're like literally rubbing their nickels together to go get a table at a club. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to go to this club because it's out of your price range. We're going to go here. And trust me, you're going to have fun.
Because we've all been there, which is cool.
Absolutely.
That you're even.
And I'm like, this is your budget. We're going to make it work.
Yeah.
And we're going to cut corners here and there to make it work.
That's awesome.
And they're like, wow. I mean, and it's crazy. I have so many like college groups because I did that years ago.
That's cool.
And like frat boys. Oh man, my fraternity brother told me about you. I'm like, cool. But the point is, I don't care. Treat me well and I'll treat you well. I have turned down a lot of money.
Like what's something that you see that you don't like, money aside, where like what is it? The way they treat you, the way they treat someone else?
I'll give you one example. And this was years ago. Obviously I'm from New York. I have a lot of relationships. So I had several clients that were in finance. So one of my clients was a very big deal in Wall Street. We're talking, this is like 7, 8 years ago. Guy's making 7 figures, crushing it. Again, back then. Now money's changed, but back then. So one of the guys from his desk, one of his subordinates was coming out to Vegas. So he's like, you got to call Manny. Manny will take care of you. So the guy called me. Cool. He had this beautiful suite at the Wynn. He's like, hey, I want you to come meet me and I want to set up an itinerary. I go, great. Go to his suite. We're talking. It's him and a couple of his buddies. Now again, they're Wall Street guys. They're hot shots. They make a lot of money. You know, New Yorkers talk fast, throw money around. I'm a New Yorker. I get it. I'm in there. They had ordered a couple of bottles of alcohol. So the butler, because they have a big suite, the butler came, brought their stuff. And, you know, he knocked on the door. They didn't answer the door. They made him wait, whatever. Then he comes in. Because butlers normally they'll knock a couple times and then they'll be like, hey, butler service. Right. Comes in, puts the stuff there. He's like, you know, I'd like your signature. A very long story short, the guy that I was introduced to was being rude to this butler. Very dismissive and rude. So the butler leaves. It irked me. I'm like, this guy's just got here and I get it. They want to have fun. But why are you treating this person so poorly? They're just doing their job. Yep. Guy was respectful, did nothing wrong. So he's telling me I want to do this and this and this. I want the best table here. I want the best table. I go, fine. So I took down my notes. I did all that. I said, great. I'll set everything up. I go, this is what you're going to do for me. You're going to call the butler. And I had seen his name tag. I was like, you know, whatever. Let's just say John. Yeah. You're going to call the butler's thing. You're going to call for John. You're going to have John come back up. And you're going to give John $500. He's like, what? I'm like, you were rude to this man. You're going to be here all weekend. You want me to take care of you. If this is how you're going to treat a butler, what are you going to do with the waitress? What are you going to do with the security guard? What's going to happen at 3 o'clock in the morning when you come back to your room after being drunk? This isn't going to work. And so he's like, what? You're going to tell me? I go, yeah. Go, if you want to work with me and I'm going to work with you, it's like a marriage for the weekend. I represent you and you represent me. And I go, if you have a problem, call so-and-so, call your boss and ask him about me. Because last I checked, he put us on a group text. I said, I'm going to give you 30 minutes. And don't worry, I'm going to call them myself to see that you did this. If you don't do it, don't worry about it. Have a great time. I'm just not going to talk to you. I'm not going to deal with you.
Amazing.
So I left, and he gave me an attitude, which again, expected hotshot Wall Street guy. I left. I texted him, hey, is this taken care of? He said, yes. I called the win. I said, hey, can I speak with the butler's department? I found the guy, John. I said, hey, John, by the way, I'm calling you from this room. Want to make sure that they gave you the gratuity that we forgot to give you earlier. Oh, yes, sir. They took care of it. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks.
No
so
way.
I texted him. And I said to him, hey, I appreciate what you did. Let's go out. Went out that night. They spent a lot of money and all this stuff. He got drunk. What happened?
Asshole.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
I completed my night because I was working the night. They got to their room. I told him, hey, man, when you get up tomorrow, call me. Calls me like 1 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. I said, don't ever call me again. You're not the type of person that I want to deal with. Thank you so very much for initially reaching out to me, but it's just not going to work. He's like, what do you mean? We spent all this money. I don't care. Good luck.
Good for you, man.
And I won't speak to the guy. And I'm not going to call his boss and say, hey, I didn't say a word to his boss. It's not who I am.
Jesus.
A few weeks later, his boss was like, hey, man, I'm coming out in a couple weeks, whatever. How did everything go with those guys? I'm like, everything was fine. You know, I think they had a really good time. He didn't tell them.
Okay.
Because he knows if he said something and he came back to me, I was going to rip a new one. I'm not trying to be cool. People probably say, man, you're stupid. Why would you give away money? Why am I going to waste my time and energy over some money?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, let's be real. We're not making millions of dollars here. You know, I make a couple of grand here, a couple of hundred here. So it's not life changing. If the guy's going to give me $100,000,
you're going to swallow.
Maybe I'll swallow my pride and I'll say, okay.
Totally.
And I'll break off the butler. But I don't want to deal with those people. And I have a lot of those stories.
Well, is that, so when you go to a club or a restaurant and it's under Manny, right? Your name, like that's your reputation, regardless of who the crowd is, right?
Oh yeah.
So when they're being dicks to the servers or whatever, do they know, hey, that's Manny's group or that's the Kess group?
Every group it says who books them. It says who their host is.
Right.
So one of the things that made me proud was I've gotten a lot of awards over the years. And
like what? Name some, because this is a big deal.
It's just Vegas awards. It's for local people. You know, Host of the Year awards and top whatever, all these different awards. And I'm grateful because I am the enemy to these clubs' hosts, right? I'm the competitor. If you're a host that works at the Wynn or at Tao or at Omnia or wherever, I'm your enemy.
Because you're on the outside. I'm
the outside, and you want to book this client. If I don't exist, you're hoping that you're going to get that client, right? So to get awards is flattering. But the one that really impressed me was the Wynn only has a few companies that they work that are affiliated with them.
That they'll allow outside hosts come in. Okay.
There's only a handful, maybe 5.
That's it.
And we're one of those 5. And they had this after COVID, they had this big meeting with all, we're called independents, and they brought us in and they talked about security and this and the other thing. And one of the directors took me to the side. He's like, you know what's funny? We love you because your groups don't get in trouble. Like my groups don't get thrown out for drugs. My groups don't get into fights because we try very hard to make sure that the clientele that we bring represent. No one's perfect, right?
Right, of course.
If you do something, client A does drugs, I don't sit there and have you fill out a questionnaire. But normally, just in our conversations and learning about each other, we can sift out and see who the troublemakers are. And I've been to a place where I've been out to work with clients that have started to do drugs. I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
Really?
It's like, what do you mean? Yeah, because you're going to get kicked out. You're going to lose your money. And in Vegas, you get kicked out of the property. So if you're at club, whatever, and get in trouble for drugs, you're out of the casino and you cannot come back again. It's not New York or LA or Miami where it's independently owned.
Gotcha.
And you can do whatever you want. So I'm like, you don't want to do that.
See, that's smart. Just even that consulting, right?
Yeah. And they're like, oh. And I've had people a couple times, happens to be again, New York Wall Street guys, that didn't care. I'm like, listen, dummy. If you're going to do that, it's your business. I can't tell you what to do. Go to the bathroom.
Right. Be smart.
Because if you're going to do it here, you're not going to be able to step foot in Vegas again. And I got to shake. I'm like, be smart.
Right.
And it's Vegas. It's excess. It's an adult playground. People want to go crazy and have fun and do whatever they can do at home. Great, but just be smart about it. I'm not your father. I'm not going to tell you not to drink too much or not to, if you do drugs or smoke weed, God bless you. That's between you and God. My job is keep you safe, give you the experience that you want, and make sure that I do my responsibility to you. I have to tell you no. And a lot of these wealthy people.
Oh, nobody says no to that. Exactly.
You know how many athletes work with me because I say no? Nobody else says no to them. And I'm like, hey, you got to be smart.
Yeah. But so you're physically, first of all, shout out to your sister Elena as well,
she's
right?
Awesome.
She's just an amazing human. She's a killer. You just see like how you guys work together, right? And it's this.
No, we fight like cats and dogs.
Yeah.
But a lot of love there, but we're very different.
But she'll stab for you, right? And it's part of the business. But so the most successful type of night that you have, do you physically have to be with your group to make sure everything is seamless? Because there's only so many people.
In my earlier days, yes. Now we have a staff of over a dozen people. So now, luckily, I don't go out as much. I'm also not a spring chicken. I'm in my 40s. The last thing I want to do is go out every single day and go out every single night. Right. I don't want to do that. So, but I do go out with friends, clients that have become friends on occasion when I can. And also when there's that request, so.
If they ask for Manny himself.
Yeah, if it's one of my Saudi guys that wants to see me, I can't be like, no, I'm going to give you to one of the team because they want me.
Absolutely.
Right? If it's one of my athlete friends, half of them don't care. They just want to make sure everything's right. But the other guys are like, hey, I want to hang out with you. So I don't go out as much as I used to. I used to go out 5-6 days a week and nights.
Insane.
Now, luckily, I go out sparingly. There are weekends. Like now we have the UFC fight coming with McGregor end of June. There's going to be a lot of people there. A lot of my clientele is coming in for that fight. So I'm going to be out.
You have. How would you even manage multiple groups that night? Like, how do you manage that?
Well, I don't want to give away all the trade secrets, but the reality is a lot of my athletes like the same music. So a lot of them are going to go to one or another place. And the beauty about Vegas is you have a dozen clubs, right? 80% of them are going to be EDM. 20% of them are going to be hip hop.
Yep.
So out of the 3 major hip hop clubs, I'm going to tell my hip hop clientele, all right, I suggest you go here. So if I have 2 or 10 of them, they're all going to go there.
And you're floating.
And then I'm going to tell my EDM clients, okay, these are the 2 best options. And so I can go to one club, Ellen and I can go to one club, and then one of our staff can go to the other one.
Right.
If I have one group or 5 groups in the same club, it's easy to manage because we're going to scatter when their arrival time, get them sat.
Yep.
And then once they're sat, they have their alcohol and they're happy. It's just everything okay. So it's not that difficult. It's hard when I have 4 groups going to 4 different clubs.
That's insane.
Because then I can't do it. So then I got to pick and say, okay, I'm going to be with this client. And then staff A, you're with them. Staff B, you're with them. Eleanor, whoever else and that's how we can spread it out. But
right.
I'm lucky at this point. I rarely have to go. This particular weekend, we had 4 groups in Vegas. Some Greeks from New York that I've worked with for years. I'm like, hey guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to be in LA this weekend.
Right.
I can't be there. They're like, no problem. And the Greeks didn't want anything. I gave them a contact for every club. And the other groups wanted a host. So we gave them each a host.
That's amazing.
And the host goes there, takes care of them. I said, just give them a tip. Whatever there's no requirement, whatever you feel comfortable.
That's all. And you're still hooking them up.
Yeah, of course. I still set up the whole itinerary. I'm just not personally there to walk them in. But our staff is great. They're all professionals. They know what they're doing. So there's not an issue.
Dude, it's great. If anyone, and we'll put all the links up, but at Manny Kess, if you follow Manny, dude, it's insane. Sometimes in the beginning, I'm like, this motherfucker photoshopped this. It's just, dude, it's crazy. These athletes, NFL, NBA, soccer, hockey stuff. And then just the random, billionaire owner of this football team or this. It's insane. Day one, you didn't have those contacts 13 years ago.
No.
And you can't give away trade secrets, and you can't even teach that, right? People be like, well, what's the secret? There's no secret. You're a good person, you're a hard worker, you make it happen. But when did that start becoming at the pool, right? 13 years ago to, holy shit, this guy's not only a client, he wants to hang out with me, and on Sunday, I'm going to go fly to Cleveland and be on the sidelines, literally on the sidelines, and then I'm going to fly to England and watch them play. When did that become friendship? For me, and it's not really a trade secret, although all these hotels now have basically created departments and staffs that I want to say mimics what I do, but damn near close. I told you, it's synergy, right? In the beginning, when I started out,
I was a New Yorker. I owned restaurants. I knew people, but I didn't know celebrities and all this stuff. I knew a couple of NFL players that were friends of mine from New York. I knew some Wall Street guys. I knew some people, some doctors. When I moved, one guy came out. I took care of him. Then he told one friend. And then another guy came out. And it just built. But the differentiating factor was I treated people the way that I wanted to be treated. When I was living in New York and friends of mine were going to Vegas and I would introduce them to hosts, half the times they wouldn't even get a call back or a text back. I'm like, hold on, man. This is what your job is. So I said, no matter what, I'm going to reply to people and I'm going to answer my phone. Even if it's 2:00 in the morning, I'm going to text that person back. And it's not rocket science.
Right.
Treat them well. And so what happens? If you come to Vegas 3 times and you're an athlete and you work with me and you're happy, you're around me, right? Hours, days, hours at night. Then you might say, hey, let's go to dinner. I'm hanging out with you and your boys or your family. Well, at some point, there's going to be a friendship there, right? If there's synergy.
And you're seeing them in vulnerable situations as well, and they know you're involved.
I mean, I know where the bodies are buried, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I've never gone to a TMZ or to somebody else and be like, hey, man, I know the story.
Yep.
And I'll tell you this, which I'll just say it. One of my buddies was just dating a Kardashian. And
you got a name?
I don't got a name. It's anyone that follows me knows who my buddy is. So I got so many people like, hey, is this true? I'm like, I don't know. And like, come on, don't lie to me. I'm like, it's not my business or yours.
Right.
Of course I knew, but it's no one's business.
Exactly.
And then I got like these DMs from like these magazines like, hey, we want to know if it's not my concern. Other people would have been like, yo, TMZ, give me $50,000 or whatever. And let me tell you something. I'm not rich enough where $50,000 doesn't matter to me or 100. But my reputation and my integrity means more than me than making some money. So I didn't say anything. And then he came to town and we hung out and she was in town and people were like, you're such an asshole. Why didn't you tell me? It's not your business. It's not your business.
Exactly.
Right? But going back to what I was saying earlier, you become friends. So then if you're going to come to Vegas and use my services and I make money, let's be real, right? I make money because you're using me.
It's not a charity.
I'm a sports fan. Well, the least I could do is go support you. So I tell all my clients, I'm a Jets fan, okay? But I don't care. It's fine. I'm a Jets fan. I'm a Mets fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Knicks fan. I was a Ranger fan my whole life until the Golden Knights were created. So now I'm kind of both. But I don't care. If you play for the Giants and you want to invite me to a game, I will fly out and I'll go to a Giant game to support you because you support me in my business and my livelihood. If you're a Cleveland Brown fan, I have been to every stadium in the United States.
Every NFL
stadium.
Yeah. Dude, it looks like you work for the NFL. Like that's your Sunday job.
And I get asked all the time, why aren't I an agent? I'm not an agent. I don't want to be an agent. God bless those guys. But my point is, it's not to be cool. And I spend money.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
NFL season, every week, I'm going to a game. And sometimes I'm going to 2 games in 2 cities.
Oh yeah, that's a few grand every weekend. Yeah.
I'm blessed because most of the times the guys are giving me tickets, so the tickets are free. And I would say a third of the times I'm staying at their houses because we're friends. But 2/3 of the times, hotel, Ubers, airfare, it's thousands a week.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like, hey, you're cool, Manny. And among other guys like, oh, you're on the sideline. I'm like, bro, A, it's work. And B, I'm giving back to people that support me because without these guys, I wouldn't have a business.
But indirectly, it's marketing as well. That is your personal brand.
It is, but I don't spend money marketing it.
Right.
So what? My Instagram followers know? Who cares? It's not like I have Facebook ads or Twitter ads or whatever, or do TikToks. So it's not really marketing. It's respect, saying thank you for supporting me. I like you. I want to support you.
Yeah.
We work with, I would assume at this point, 2/3 of the NFL. I'm not going to all these guys' houses. I'm not going to, but I have a client on every single team in the NFL. So if I wanted to go to a game, I can make a phone call and go to a game. The Stanley Cup. I have friends that play for both teams. So if I want to go to Stanley Cup final, hey, do you have room for me?
Right.
I would love to support you because you support me. And a lot of the times the guys are happy because I take care of them.
Right.
It's not random. A lot of these athletes, I know their families, their parents, their siblings, their significant others.
Jeez.
So, I mean, it's not like just some random guy, this guy in Vegas. I'm the Vegas plug, but I'm also the homie that they know that they can count on.
That you're not just waiting there to collect, like you're out there supporting.
Exactly.
So all these professional athletes, the Saudis, I want to talk to you about the Saudis, but professional athletes, big egos, right? Alpha males, a lot of money. What's the common trait among all these humans? Because earlier on you said, hey, piss smells the same, shit smells the same. Like when you get past the, oh my God, they're on TV and they're athletes. Mm-hmm. Like what's the common trait?
There's a lot of different personalities and characters, right? But if I had to say a common trait, most professional athletes feel that they're getting taken advantage of, or people look at them as a dollar sign. Because it's just truth, right? Once you become a professional athlete and you make money, you got uncles and cousins and people come out of the woodwork asking for a handout.
Absolutely.
And so with me, I'm not like, you need to get the most expensive table. You got to go spend. I'm like, what do you want to do? Let's get you what you want.
Right.
And we build something around what you want. So I don't look at them as a dollar sign. Money's going to come. I look at you as, how can I make your experience the best and give you what you want? Because there are athletes that'll go out and spend $20,000, $30,000 on a table. There are guys that'll spend $2,000.
Right.
They have the money. It's just different mentalities, right? There are guys that love to drink. There are guys that don't. There are guys that have $1 million chains and $500,000 cars, but refuse to buy a bottle of alcohol because it's $50 in a liquor store and the club wants $700.
Yep.
So I'm not here to judge. I'm here to accommodate you and do what you want. I have clients that gamble and don't go to clubs. I have clients that will spend $10,000 a night on a hotel room, not $1 on a nightclub, or they'll get a regular room and spend $50,000 at a pool party. So the common theme is don't look at somebody as a dollar sign and try to squeeze them for whatever you can. Give them what they want. Do it in the best way possible. Doesn't have to be the most economical, but don't take advantage.
Right.
Make them happy and they'll come back.
That's great. Right before COVID, I was in LA. Your sister was out here, and I guess she was talking with my wife. She's like, oh, come by. I think Avra was just opening up. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, 5 years ago.
Beverly Hills?
In Beverly Hills. And Elena was going to go, and I went with my wife, and we're just talking with Elena. Then all of a sudden, she's like, oh, hold on. Odell Beckham comes in. She's hugging him. Hey, how are you? They grab a drink or whatever. They were talking, and then he took off. I'm like, was that Odell Beckham? She goes, yeah, he came through. And then that was that. I'm like, just like that? It was just crazy. And I guess back to your point, like you just treat them like regular people.
Yeah, of course.
But you guys have become like cool with that community.
Yeah, you respect people. I mean, it doesn't matter. I treat the busser at the club the same as I treat the bathroom attendant, the same as I treat the Saudi. And my high school friends that reach out to me, I still talk to them. It doesn't matter to me who you are. It's how you are.
Absolutely.
And that's Elena's like me in the fact that we're respectful, but we won't take anyone's shit.
Yeah.
So she's worse than I am in the fact, she'll tell somebody to their face, like, listen, you're being an asshole. or no, you're not doing this.
But she gets away with it though, right? Like she has that personality.
She's cis. She's cis to everyone, she's literally a family member. So we've been out with celebrities and there'll be girls that are trying to get their attention or trying to be rude or, hey, take it easy. Like, wait your turn, and I'm like, you say that? Like, okay, bravo. So, but people appreciate that because they don't want to be the bad person. Like, hey, I'll be the bad guy for you.
Yeah.
So
when you're out with these athletes, what's the most common? Girls are just throwing themselves at them? Like what?
Guys. I'll tell you a funny story. I was in London. It was Drake's tour. I was with a couple of NFL guys. So I went from London to Ireland. So we're in Dublin. And one of these, me, like 3 NFL guys, entourage, whatever, we're going to the bathroom. And the one NFL guy goes into the stall to pee, right?
Oh, jeez.
A grown man tried to go into the stall to get a selfie with him while he was peeing.
Come on, man.
I swear to you. I was washing my hands and I see this. I grabbed the guy. I'm like, what are you doing? And, thick Irish accent. Trying to get a photo. Guy's in the bathroom. You couldn't wait till he went out of the bathroom, washed his hands and got... But again, like no common sense. I don't know if he was drunk, but guys are worse than the females are when it comes to trying to get their selfie and their picture. And so no, it's not always the women. Yeah. And it depends on the athlete, right? I mean, you mentioned Odell. Odell, young, good looking guy.
Good looking guy, yeah.
The offensive lineman might not be the small, he's a 300-pound dude, so he might not be as recognizable as the Odell or the Stephon Diggs or the Patrick Mahomes. Yep. Right? Because they're just much bigger dudes. They don't get the camera time, even though they're still making 10 million, whatever, 20 million a year. But so in general, professional athletes, it's what they do to try to not so much to hide, but to stay under the radar when they go out. Right. Like a guy like Odell, when he has his hair blonde and if he's not wearing a hoodie, you can notice him from
Yep.
5 blocks away.
Yep.
Right? Pat, if he puts on a hoodie and some shades, he could probably sneak away. Like, Trae Young is one of our clients.
Oh, really?
Great player, but he's not 6'11". So you know what? He can dress a certain way where he can go through a crowd and not be seen.
Right.
But if you're Shaq, you're screwed. There's nowhere to hide, right? So same thing like with NFL guys. The 6'7", 330 pounder, he sticks out like a sore thumb. The 5'9", 5'10" wide receiver or cornerback can get away with a lot more. So it's a challenge. But when women notice that it's a famous athlete, then yes, they try to come to the table.
They come, yeah.
But for me, it's always the guys that are like trying to get their pictures and, or the guy that's like, oh, you fucking suck because you play for whatever team. Bro, it's a job.
Get out of here, yeah.
I mean, come on. You go to Apple and be like, oh, I fucking hate you, man. I work for Microsoft. No.
Yeah, it's just a dude paying some bills.
It's just somebody who has a job, and when they're not on the field, they just want to enjoy their life.
Right.
And the things that I see, I mean, it's incredible. The amount of hatred that athletes get.
What, just by default, guys are just jealous?
Bro, if you're an Eagle fan, you hate the Giants, right? I mean, if any sport, if you're a Celtics fan, you hate the Lakers, right? I mean, it's like, I don't give a shit. I'm a Mets fan. You know what? Yankees are in the postseason and the Mets are out. Hey, man, go win your World Series.
Totally.
I don't care, but a lot of people, they're just different.
Yeah.
They're wired different.
Yeah, and you see all that, right?
I mean, I have soccer players.
Okay, that's what I want to ask you about. So soccer players in Europe, most of these guys can't walk down the street, global sport. When they come over here, are they being recognized?
A lot more fun for them. No, not as much.
So what are some players? Can you name some players that?
I mean, I work with a lot of guys. I mean, I work with Jerome Boateng. I mean, one of my good friends in Vegas works with Neymar. I mean, so it all depends. A guy like Neymar, wherever he goes, he's going to get bombarded. But like Jerome, he didn't get bombarded.
And he's a global name. Yeah.
So again, it all depends. But most of the times, no, they're fine.
Which is crazy, like just on a sports scale.
The global side, they're monsters. Yeah. When I was in Germany, I was visiting him and I stayed at his house and I was driving his car. Germans, by nature, are very like unassuming, very righteous, So I was driving his car, and every time I came to a light, people were like, I'm like, what the hell are they looking at?
Yeah, you're not him.
And of course, he happens to be a black German. I'm a white guy. But every time I was at a light, it's like. So I went to his practice, and I'm like, bro, what's going on? He's like, what do you mean? I go, every time I stopped at a light, people were looking at the car, and like I saw this disappointed look on their face. And he starts laughing. Oh, their license plate, because they won the German Cup every year.
Yeah.
So the license plate was Deutsche Master. So it said DM, the year, and the number. So it was Deutsche Master, the year that they won the cup, and the soccer player's number.
No way.
Like, you had to give me the car that had your freaking number on it. Like, that makes a lot of sense.
German thinking, right?
Like, he didn't think about it. He just gave me the Audi because he wanted to drive the G-Wagon. So I just took the Audi, and it was so funny, but it was so nonchalant. He's like, oh, ha, ha, yeah. I'm like, bro.
First of all, how cool is that you're staying at this guy's house, you're driving his car?
It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Nicest guy, coolest guy, superstar, world famous.
Dude. Where's he, Dortmund? Who does he play for? What's his team?
No, he was in Bayern for many, many years. He won all that, but now he's not in German league anymore. But the point is, superstar.
Yeah.
Right? And we're at a cafe in Munich having lunch. It's not America. They don't bother you. He got up and, hey, good to see you, Jerome, and speaking in German, whatever.
Yeah.
Super cool.
That's awesome.
We go out, some little kid want an autograph, no problem. But they're not like the US where you get bombarded.
Swarm,
the Germans are very, very different. Like I said, they're very respectful, very cool. I remember me, him, and his girls, we did a bicycle ride around his neighborhood. So he's on a bicycle.
Come on.
And I'm on one and the kid's on one. Around the neighborhood for like an hour.
That's so cool,
like, you're
dude.
not going to see Tom Brady on a bicycle around the neighborhood because, they'll get bombarded or, whatever, Kevin Hart or any celebrity.
Paparazzi out, all this stuff. Yeah.
And here's this guy. He's probably, if not the most recognizable German because he happens to be an African-American German.
Yep.
Superstar, won World Cups, won all these titles. Just a bicycle riding around the neighborhood.
That's crazy.
No security, no entourages.
Living his life.
Just him and his girls. And I was like, man, this guy, he's got it all figured out.
Do you sit there and like, dude, I came here, started from scratch in Vegas. Now I'm riding this international soccer stars car and riding bike. Like that's just a crazy.
For a while, I was like, damn. I mean, listen, to this day, I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, you mentioned earlier, I have professional owners of teams that contact me to do stuff for them.
Yeah.
It's not bragging, it's just life, right? So when it first happened, I was like, whoa, I got a billionaire calling me because he wants help with something or dinner or whatever.
Who has ultimate access. These billionaires
who
have
has 1,000 employees who could do it for him, but he's calling me for my advice. And then, a second one, and a third one, and a fifth one, and I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
I'm very blessed. Again, I'm a Jet fan. I happen to know the owner of the Giants. So every year when I go home to see the family in the fall, I always try to catch games. And you know how it is. Usually one of the two teams is going to be home.
Right.
So there's been many occasions where I've gone home and the Jets were away and the Giants were home. So I'll reach out to him and be like, hey, I'd love to come and catch a game and support. And he sends me 2 tickets. And usually it's in like his suite. It's an owner suite. Well, he has a few of them, but I'm so grateful because I can afford to spend the $500 on tickets, but it's just so nice to have people value you and respect you. And
but even the way you ask for it, or it's not, hey, any freebies, any tickets, it's, hey, I would love to support.
Of course, because I would.
That is support. You going there supporting these guys.
And listen, we're always talking about the good stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff. There's, these clubs, like I said, they're my competitor. They've sabotaged relationships. They've done so much to put a block between me and client. I've lost clients. That's just the nature of the beast, right?
But walk us through that though. Like Vegas, everyone thinks Vegas, 60 million people. It's a village when it comes to the actual community, right?
Listen, there's a lot of egos.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are in my line of work that work for companies. Of course, everybody wants to make money, but a lot of them want to be cool. I almost never take a picture with my clients. Almost never. Hell, I don't even take a picture with my girlfriend. I'm just not that guy.
Nope.
Oh, let's get a selfie. Most times when you see me with a picture, it's because somebody else took it and sent it to me. I don't do it.
Right.
So a lot of these guys are the opposite. They'll see a celebrity in a club. They'll just go, hey man, I work here. Can I get a picture with you? Hey man. And they care about their egos being stroked.
Loud.
Yeah, all that bullshit. I'm the opposite. I want people to be happy. At the end of the day, I want to make my money, take care of myself and my family, make sure that when somebody needs something, I can help them and enjoy my life.
So then how do you protect, like Vegas, right? Just use a high profile name, Odell. He's coming. You call, hey, he wants to stay at the Cosmo. The minute you drop someone's name that they're coming there, don't they have their own in-house and the vultures just come out?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
So how do you protect that?
I mean, the reality is you cannot protect it. What you can do is have a good relationship with the person where they know that they're just going to come to you.
Right.
And you use Odell. Odell's a client and a friend. He's a good example. Anywhere he goes, he's getting a dozen business cards. I'm the vice president of this. I'm the owner of that. I'm this, I'm that. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. He's smart enough to know that most of these people want something.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very respectful. He's cool to say hi. He's very, very extremely smart and respectful. But if he wants something in Vegas, he's going to call me and say, Manny, I want this.
That's awesome. Because
he knows it's going to get done. He doesn't have to think about it again. Now, other people don't think like that.
Right.
Oh, how can I save a few dollars? Oh, how can I this? Oh, how can I that? And again, these are all multimillionaires.
Yep.
So saving $500 or $1,000 is not going to make or break you. It's just a ploy for somebody else to get their hooks in you and then they're hooking you up. The reality is if you're going to spend $5,000 on a table, you're going to spend $6,000.
Yeah. And if someone's that fickle to jump to save a few bucks, then they're not going to be able to hold that client. It's just a chain.
But it's not worth it for me either.
Yeah.
I have a couple of superstar clients that I've lost over the years. And my friend's like, are you mad? I'm like, no, I'm not mad. It wasn't meant to be. Why am I going to be mad? If that client doesn't value what I do for them, then why am I going to lose sleep over them? Let the 100 of the people who fawn over them.
Right.
I know what I provide. I know who I am. Like I said, I know where all the bodies are buried with my clients.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of things. I have never spoke it. And 99 out of 100, I'm getting people out of trouble.
Even if you've lost the clients, those are buried stories. Like that's it.
Yeah, why? It's my legacy, my karma, and my soul.
Right.
I might move out of Vegas one day. I might do whatever. I would like to start a family one day. My kids are going to know that their dad did the right thing. Even when he could have veered away. No, I did the right thing because money is not that important to me. I have enough. I'm very blessed. Celebrity status isn't important to me. I don't envy a guy like Odell. God bless him. He's an amazing man. But boy, is that pressure hard.
Dude, that seems exhausting.
It is 24/7. I was literally watching the Maradona story on Amazon Prime last night. And I was like, man, this guy, who wants that life?
Who wants that?
I don't care about all that money.
No.
Why? Because he has a nicer car than me or a nicer home. I still have a car. I still have a home. I don't need it to be, I don't need 35 cars.
But do they love that? Not Odell. Let's take him out of the equation. In general, these athletes, these professionals, do they feed off that, or are they sometimes
it depends on the person. I mean,
do you see buddies behind the scenes like, fuck, Manny, like this is tiring, man?
Of course, it's tiring. I mean, when you want to have a dinner, when you go to dinner with your wife or your girlfriend or your mom or anyone, and you can't have a meal because every 3 minutes somebody's bothering you for a picture or when you're eating and they're snapping your picture.
Or filming you like
And like me personally, I don't like to be touched. It's just, I never like to be touched, except if it's some like significant other.
Yeah.
So they're walking and people are like high-fiving them and hitting them on the shoulder. And why are you touching somebody?
Yeah.
Because you see them on TV, you think that they're your friend? So it's very challenging. I applaud all these athletes, men and women, because it's crazy.
Right.
Like look at Caitlin Clark. Look what she's dealing with. Oh, she's only popular because, she's white and it's racist. I'm like, wait a minute. She just broke a record that no one thought was ever going to get broken.
Right.
In college. And she turned down all this money to go to the WNBA to make nothing. I think it was Ice Cube that offered her millions to go play in his league. And she's like, no, I'm going to go make $200,000 a year to play in the WNBA.
Exactly.
So why are you giving this girl so much? Let's see what happens. Let her play for a year or two.
Yeah.
See if the hype translates. But no, she's getting crucified.
Yeah. Because everyone thinks they have a voice now because they could just click away.
Because they saw her on TV.
Right. Exactly.
I'm like, really?
Yeah. So people think they have that access to that person.
Yeah, and it's disgusting because we live in this information super age right now. They're not your friends because you saw them on social media or because you see them on TV or because you might have met them in passing.
Yeah. Or you support their team.
It doesn't give you the ability to go. Like I see, like, look at this political campaign stuff.
Jeez.
Why do you talk trash about Biden or Trump just because of a party? You can dislike them for who they are as people. Mm-hmm. You can dislike their policies, but I'm never going to say, oh, I hate you because you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. No, I hate you because, well, I don't use the word hate, but I dislike you because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But that's not the world we live in today.
Nope.
You watch the news. Oh my God, this person said that Donald Trump is the best. So he's the best or he's the worst. Why?
Yeah.
Do your own research. Make your own assumptions.
Yeah. And it's very black, just politically there. It's so black and white here. I can like and do Mr. Potato Head between 2 or 3 candidates. Like it's just, I grew up in Canada and there were multiple parties there and I never knew what we voted. Like my dad always voted on, I like this guy because this, and this. It was never, we are liberal, we are conservative. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what party I lean more towards until like the last election. It's crazy. It's become too and here's the other thing, just talking about Greeks really quick. Think about it growing up at the table. My dad, multiple Greeks around the table yelling at each other. All my Canadian buddies be like, dude, why are they mad? I'm like, they're just talking, right? 6 guys, 7 opinions, yelling, fist, blah, blah. Okay, see you tomorrow, Angela. See you this. You can't do that anymore.
Oh, no.
People are, I'm unfriending you. I'm not talking to
man. Oh, no.
It's too much, man.
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
Come back to this really quick. So just in Vegas to wrap up that. What's advice? Like you're obviously at the top of your game. What's advice for someone that wants to get into this ultra competitive hosting world? Like where would you start someone, Manny, 13 years ago?
That's a really tough question. You gotta get a book of business. That's the most important thing. So either you go and you work for a company like a Tag Group, like The Win, like, Zook Group, you go work for one of those companies and you build a book of business. Or you come and you work with one of the independents. I mean, there's only like 2 or 3 of us of the bigger companies, but it's hard because with us, you eat what you kill, right? Mm-hmm. You only make money when you're booking stuff. So you have to have business. So I would say go work for one of those companies for a couple of years, build your book of business, get your relationships around town, learn everyone, and then go on your own and do something like what I do. Because it's not rocket science. There's so much business there as long as you take care of people and do the right thing. Right. I mean, there is a ton of shitty hosts in Las Vegas making money because there's money to be made. They're not at the top by any means, but they're still making money, right? So I would say, go get a job and pay attention. Do the work, follow the rules, which is go out as much as you can, meet people, give out your card, get people's numbers, stay in contact,
right,
and just build that book. It's like any other business.
Absolutely.
You know, it translates into anything else. You want to open up a restaurant? Same thing. You need clients, right? Send out your mailers, go out, go to local events, go to the Chamber of Commerce. Hey, this is what I'm doing. It's the same thing. Just be present, be respectful, be mindful of others. Don't just look at people as dollar signs.
Yeah. See, that's great advice. And then you, even before Vegas, you ran your own businesses, restaurants, hospitality. What's traits that you learned there that you carry on today? Like you had said before, don't see them as dollar signs. You used to have corporate clients on Fifth Avenue, right? They all used to order from your catering business. So you had that corporate experience in dealing with them.
I mean, listen, what I learned was you're going to get robbed. People are going to badmouth you. You know what's funny? Everyone talks about like online reviews and stuff. Who does reviews? People that are not happy, right? I don't sit there and write, oh my God, I had the best meal ever. No, you go out and review when you're mad. So throw all that stuff out the window. The keys to success in business is know who you are, be confident in yourself, treat people the way that you want to be treated, go the extra mile. Even if you fall on your face, just get up, do it again. You know, we said this earlier. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. They're both learning experiences.
Right.
From the bad ones, okay, why is it bad? What could I have done better? What did I do wrong? Tomorrow, make sure I don't do that again. The good ones, okay, why is it good? What can I learn? How can I make it better? All right. And you keep progressing, right? That's how we, in business, any business, right, that's how you progress. If you get down on yourself, if you doubt yourself, whether you're an athlete, whether you're in Wall Street, whether you're a podcaster, or whether you're in hospitality, if you don't believe in yourself, what happens? It shows, right? Your demeanor, the way that you act. You might be more irritable. You might be very quiet. You show. So be confident. Know that you have the tools and the ability to do it. And then just go out there and do everything with love. People are rude to you, give them love. To a certain point, right? Somebody punches you in the face, you're not going to hug them. But, but you know what I'm saying? People are going to insult you. Okay, sticks and stones. People are going to steal from you. I've had hosts steal clients. If I tell you the amount of money I've lost, it's okay. You know, even this year, a few months ago, one of my buddies, he works for a venue. He got a referral for a client that I booked for years. And that client spent a lot of money. I was happy. I'm like, yeah, it's my buddy. I'm happy. Guy's married he's got a family. He's got kids.
Jeez.
Yes. I didn't say there, oh my God, why did I lose that money? No, it sucked. It's a lot of money. But I was happy because he did nothing wrong. He just got a referral. They reached out to him. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Does that come with age though? Like, have you always been like that?
10 years ago, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it comes with serenity. It comes with success. I mean, I own multiple businesses now. I'm investing. I have a lot of passive income coming in. So I'm not solely dependent on that. But he is. So yes, but even younger Manny would have just worked harder. My ego would have been like, all right, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out the next 3 days. And I'm going to get 5 more clients.
Right. And that fueled you to go and kick ass. Yeah.
And that fueled me to go do that. And even though my bank account, was smaller years ago, I was getting on that flight. I was going to that football game because you know what? After the game, my buddy who plays on whatever team, we're going to go out and eat. I'm going to meet 5 more players. And if I get one of those players, it made up for the $1,000 I just spent.
Great mindset though.
And that was what I did.
Yeah.
And you know what? And then I learned, and then it's cool. And then on the flip side, it's cool. I'm a sports fan. Of course, I want to go to the Stanley Cup final. Of course, I want to go to the Super Bowl. Of course, I want to go to NASCAR. I love sports. I mean, I played collegiate soccer. So if it was something that I hated, like if you're like, I don't know, what would I hate? If you're like, okay, man, you've got to go to a seminar for 6 hours. I'm like, oh, shoot
me, right?
You know, I mean, I might be able to go once, but I wouldn't go every weekend. Right? I don't care how much money you have. So, or like a mastermind. Yeah, I've done it once or twice, but I could not do that every week. I'd be like, please. But it's something that I enjoy. So it kind of worked well with me. And you talked about, Saudi. I have some Saudi princes that are clients.
Yeah. How does that even happen, dude?
It was a referral. It's just a referral. I mean, I had some friends in LA. The one guy, he had a buddy who was a Saudi prince. So they were in LA hanging out. I was in LA. We met. And they're like, oh yeah, Manny is in Vegas. We don't need anything. The next year, the guy wanted to come to Vegas. So he shot me a WhatsApp. Hey, Manny, remember me? I'm Prince, whatever. I'm like, yeah. And I took care of them.
Are they extravagant? Do they even care about the dollar signs?
Oh man, it's a good question. It depends.
Okay.
So what most people don't know, there's thousands of Saudi princes.
Yeah.
And depending on where you are in a hierarchy meaning closest to the king, right? You could be number 2, 200, or 3,000. However close you are to the king, you get a bigger monthly stipend.
So they're all getting paid though. They're all getting a salary from the...
It's a stipend, yes. Wow. So if you're like number 1,000, you might get 20,000 a month. If you're number 52, you might get 500,000 a month. Right? So that matters because you get that direct deposit at the first of the month. So I've had several of these clients that came to Vegas enjoying life and then stayed in their room for a day and a half until they got that fresh check.
Jeez.
And then I had others, money was no object because they were higher in the totem pole. If you have 500 grand a month coming to you from birth, by the time you're 25 or 30,
wow.
But if you have 20,000 a month coming to you, easy to spend, right? So depends where you are. I will say that it's funny. It's a double-edged sword. Very respectful, very well educated, but the culture is different, right? They have servants.
Yep.
So it's what they are. They're not assistants. They treat them very poorly. They're like second-class citizens. So some of my clients that have come to Vegas had 2, I call them assistants, but they were servants.
Right.
So I was like, damn, okay. And then they had their buddies. And they're very respectful to me, treat me well. You know, they're all like extremely, whether they went to Oxford or Cambridge or BU or wherever they went to school, they're all great educations, very well spoken. They'll talk to me so respectfully, but then they'll turn on to the staff and treat them very poorly. And then you can, when they're talking in Arabic, you can see that they're being, you know, they're loud, they're being demeaning. So, but
that's tough,
but
man.
It's cultural.
Yeah.
And you know, how they treat women. So it's very, very cultural. So they talk about haram and, you know, they're not supposed to drink and not supposed to do this, but I mean, what do you think they're doing in Vegas? So again, I do my job. You want me to set up a dinner for you? You want to go to a show? You want to go to XYZ? Okay. But it's
culturally, it's different.
It's very challenging.
Yeah.
Especially for me. You know, we're Greek. So we love our families. We love our women. Like, and you know, my mom and your mom was still smack us if it was tough.
Yeah.
So going to the opposite side of the world where the culture is very different. And you know, like we were in cars and the women had to sit and I'm like, wait, they can't be, no. They're near the car. I'm like, why? Because that's how it is.
Okay. Right? It's great. Yeah. And it's not making fun. It's just, it's crazy. Yeah.
What am I going to say? You're wrong. Okay, where would you like me to sit?
Yeah.
Want me to go in that car? No, you're here. Okay.
You had to ride in the trunk.
Yeah, right? and that's the thing, like, you know, and like the funniest thing was because of the time difference, these guys would be like, okay, Manny, we need you here at 10 a.m. Okay. These guys don't get out of bed till 3 p.m. So I sat there. So it came to a point where I was charging them by the hour.
Just to make up your, yeah.
I mean, my time is important, right? And I'm on a Saturday, you want me to be with you from 10 a.m. to midnight. And it's not like I'll hang out with you for an hour. No, from 10 a.m. to midnight, we want you here. And I literally sat in the lobby for 5 hours.
They just wanted to know you're there.
No, they thought they were going to get up and do breakfast. Of course not. But in the beginning, I didn't know that. So I sat there and they want me dressed a certain way. I have to wear a blazer. There's rules. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, it's going to be $1,000 a day plus tip if you want me to be with you all day long.
Yeah.
Because I can go with other clients and make more than that. I'm not charging them a lot because I can make more, but you have to value my time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So after the first trip, the one guy was there for 5 days. They gave me an envelope for $5,000. I was like, okay.
Just for your time. So at least, yeah.
Time. And then I booked stuff and, you know, I made money. But if you don't say that, they're going to walk all over you. Yep. And then when his cousin came, he's like, hey, my cousin, another prince, he was the opposite. He came with like 25 people. They wanted 15 rooms. This was over the top.
Jeez.
All these suites. They wanted shows every day, the best tickets. I don't care. Very different than my client because my client was budgeted. His cousin clearly was much higher in totem pole because he was blowing $50,000 a day like it was nothing. I mean, just think of the 15 rooms and show tickets and lunches and dinners and this and that. They didn't do any clubs. He wasn't a drinker.
Okay.
But I want to go to a show every day. I want the best tickets. I don't care where it is. Oh, I want to have a Maybach for myself. I want 2 sprinters. I want this. I want that. Waiting here on standby. It adds up.
Oh, yeah.
No problem. And for him, I didn't say anything. He's like, my cousin told me we will take care of you. And he gave me a very nice envelope because he gave me a tip. I was like, okay, I can get used to this.
So you were happy with that?
Of course, because I didn't have to say it. They respected my time. Right. And he also didn't have me waiting for 14 hours.
Right.
His handler was like, okay, we're going to go have lunch at 1 p.m. Where should we go? And I gave them 2 recommendations. I didn't have to go. I'm not going to eat with them. Okay, then we're going to go shop. And then we're going to go to dinner. Can you come to dinner, please? I'd love to come to dinner.
They invite you to sit with them.
Okay. Well, it's a 16, 20 person table. So I was there. But dinner was at 9. They were there. Not like the other guy who showed up an hour later.
Right.
Okay, we want to go to this show. The show's at 7. Would you like to join us? You can get a ticket. I went to like 1 show out of respect, but that was the time like, no, thank you. A, I didn't want them to spend the money. And B, I've seen the shows, But what I did do was I would wait for them, give everyone their ticket so that they were all, because they want to be organized and it is a job, right?
Right.
Everyone had their ticket. I went half hour before. I spoke to the manager. I said, hey, we have a very VIP guest coming in. I don't want them to wait in this bottleneck. Is there a way to do this? So I did my job. So when they got there, they went right in. They didn't wait on a line.
Right.
This guy's a Saudi prince, right? I mean, you shouldn't have to wait on a line with, 75 other people that are on vacation, taking pictures with their yard-long, margaritas or whatever. Right. Like, they just want to go in. So I accommodated that. That's what you do for VIPs, right? Cool. I'll tell you one other funny story.
No, say it, man, because this is interesting.
So I got a call to take care of the Weeknd's family. Okay, you're Canadian, so you appreciate it.
Yep.
His mom and his family, they were coming to Vegas. Not him. So they wanted all this super VIP stuff, backdoor entrances, all this. And I'm like, why? He's not here. Fable's not here. Why? Okay. And I was talking to their manager, so I could be very open, respectfully, who gives a shit? Why are we going to do this if, he's not here? If Abel's here, I get it. Well, that's what they want. So, okay. So they want to go see this show. They wanted to go see Michael Jackson.
Okay.
So I called, spoke to the manager. I said, hey, this is this, blah, 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 blah. They want to come in the special. And, well, we only reserve that for, celebrities. I go, I understand that, but this is what they like. Can you please make an exception? Sure. Got them the tickets. Okay, they want to go to dinner. They want to go to the private room. They want to do this. So literally it was like he was there, but he wasn't there.
Was he undercover and just trying to get that? Okay. He just wasn't.
It was the mom and the family, but that's what the manager wanted.
Right.
I'm assuming because he just was so used to doing it for Abel but Vegas doesn't really care. We get so many celebrities, so much wealth.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You go to any restaurant, you're going to see a famous person. You're going to see, just think of just June 29th, this fight.
Yeah.
There's going to be 300-400 athletes there. Multiple billionaires.
Multiple, yeah.
I bet you there's going to be a ton of Saudi princes because they're all big UFC fans.
Yep.
So
and trying to steal business from Vegas.
You can't to do more fights in Abu Dhabi. You can't go anywhere in the city and not see famous people. And especially for UFC, Dana White has done an amazing job of getting celebrities and people, influencers, all types.
Presidents.
Presidents. So he brings everyone to his events, especially a Conor comeback fight, right?
Yeah.
So they're not going to accommodate you. So for me, it was challenging because now it's like, hey, it's not really a famous person, it's a famous person's family, but we did it, right? The point of the story was a lot of people wouldn't care. Oh, I didn't make money to do that. I was just taking care of this manager because I've worked with him in the past. We've made money and other stuff. So he's like, can you please do this?
Right.
Other hosts would say, no, I'm not making money. It's a lot of work. And yet I did it. And on top of that, I went to MJ1, waited for them to make sure, because if I'm not there and they just walk up and there's some handler there or they don't know. No, I was there. I made sure that the manager of the theater was with me, waiting for me. So when they came, they took him in the back. We met them curbside, took them in the back.
That's a big deal, man.
They did the thing,
That's a big deal.
For free.
Yeah.
Now, I bet you the Weeknd has no idea. And if you saw him walking down the street, you wouldn't know who the hell I am. But I got his mom's phone number, and I took care of his mom for 3 days.
Make mom happy, he'll be happy, right?
But my point is, unbeknownst to him, all he knows, his manager did it. I don't care. I did the right thing. And I'm confident that God will be like, you know what, Manny, you did the right thing. So in the future, one day, I'll bless you with, I'm very, very blessed, but The point is, I'll do things to make sure it's done right, not just because it makes me money.
And that's why you become successful, because you'll do that stuff.
I think it's part of it.
Yeah. And so really quick, just on Vegas, you'll do anything, your company will do anything from just, hey, we'll book you at a restaurant that you're trying to get into. That's like the easier of the thing, right? If you were. What's been the most extravagant that someone or a group has paid, over the course of a trip there that you've been involved with?
There's a lot of things. But the funny thing is, I was just talking about this. I always get asked this question. I'll tell you a funny story. I was at a pool and a client said, if you can find me a little person to bring me out a bottle, I'll buy the biggest bottle that they have in this pool.
Jeez. Was it the Wolf of Wall Street?
No, but we found a little person to come in, paid the person $1,000 to come in, and this client got the biggest. There was like a 30 liter of champagne, and it's funny because it's bigger than the little person, but like you get crazy requests all the time.
Right.
I mean, some of the hardest things that I get asked is there are certain dinner reservations. Again, there's certain things that are certain tables on holiday weekends that are very hard to get because there's only one of them.
Right.
Or there's a couple of restaurants that are very popular. Delilah's very popular. They book out weeks in advance. So you can't come in and say, hey man, Saturday, 8 p.m., I want a table for 10 people.
It's not happening. It's
not, because it's booked way in advance. And then on top of that, they're in a casino. The casino might have a big gambler. Guy might have just lost $1 million. If he wants to go eat there, they're going to bump whoever at the tables. I'm sorry, this guy gets priority.
Right.
So there's layers before they even get to a regular reservation. I'm lucky that I have relationships and I don't take advantage of them, but that's the stuff that becomes challenging.
Right.
So an athlete that hits me up on Friday and says, hey man, I'm jumping on a jet, I'm going to be there in a couple of hours and I want XYZ and it's 15 people, can be challenging. They don't understand that.
Sure.
Because they're like, hey man, I'm whoever I am.
And they don't care. They just want you to make it.
You know, like athletes want to go to Carbone. They love Carbone because it's a cool spot and they got great spicy rigatoni. Cool. You can't tell me at 6 o'clock on a Friday that you want to go there at 8 o'clock for 20 people and get the private room, because the private room has been contracted a month ago for somebody else who put a deposit and it's theirs. But you can't tell these guys no because they don't understand, because wherever home is, then they can do whatever they want.
Right.
Vegas is not like that. So it's navigating that stuff. Many times I can make it happen. I mean, I have clients that have asked me for green room tickets for the Oscars. We make it happen.
Jeez.
If you can afford it, we had done a wedding a couple years ago abroad where they want a particular DJ. We booked it.
You booked that.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff doesn't get to the press, yeah, of course. If you want something extraordinary and you have the means, 9 out of 10, we're going to make it happen. But nothing is perfect.
Right.
Because sometimes you just can't. And like I said, I had a client who wants one specific table at this club. Always. Okay, if we book in advance, I can get it to you. But if you're coming out for the real estate convention, which is one of the biggest weekends of the year in Vegas, and it's EDC, and you're telling me 2 days before that you want this table when somebody else paid 2 months ago,
right.
I'm so sorry. I'll get you the one next to it.
Is that the biggest week?
It's one of the biggest weeks.
Like ICSC, is that the show? Yeah,
yes.
yeah, it's huge.
So like that, Memorial Day weekend, New Year's, those are big weekends. So if we plan it, no problem. But you can't come on one of the 5 biggest weekends of the year and say, I want this table.
Right.
When somebody else already put a deposit way before you. And it's trying to massage that and say no, but give alternatives. And I'm honest. I'm like, hey man, no.
It's not happening.
And he's like, oh, I'm going to call my casinos. I go, you can call anyone you want. This table is not going to happen. But I want you to take this table and this is why.
So you always have options.
Yeah. And my clients, they know that I look out for them, right? What I tell people is, listen, I work for you. I don't work for a casino. I don't work for a restaurant. I don't work for a nightclub or a pool party or a show. I work for you. You pay me. I do a good job. You're happy. I make money. You have a great experience.
Right.
You're not happy. I don't make money. We'll never see each other again.
And it's that simple.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can get this table for $500 cheaper. If I had $1 for every time I heard that, you know what I say? Go for it.
Go. If it's that fickle down to that,
go for it.
Go, yeah.
No, because it's like you're telling me the $12,000 table, you're going to get for $11,000 or $11,500?
Right.
I can understand if you're budgeted and you say I can only spend $3,000 and a table's $5,000. I get it.
Yep.
But if you're telling me you want the best table and it's $12,000 table, oh, somebody's going to give it to me for $11,000. First of all, you're not going to get that table. You're going to get something else. And second of all, you're not going to get me.
Yep.
I'm waiting for you. I'm walking you in. I'm making sure. Oh yeah, this host, he made me wait 10 minutes outside and he never came to the table. That's what you wanted. Yep. You wanted to save a couple dollars. By the way, what did you spend? $26,000? But I thought you were saving $1,000.
Yep.
I'm like, which one is it? You call me the next day to complain. Meanwhile, I told you exactly how everything was going to go. And I know you. I know what you spend. It doesn't matter. You know, the number one misconception with Vegas is, I want a deal. If you're 15 dudes, you're not going to spend $1,000.
You're at a disadvantage, right? Yeah.
No, it's not a disadvantage. You need a table big enough for you. And one bottle makes 18 drinks. So each round that you guys drink is a bottle.
Right.
In the course of a night, 15 dudes are probably going to find 5 to 10 girls to hang out with and have fun. You're going to drink 4 or 5 bottles. So if somebody tells you, I'll give you a table for $1,000, first of all, it doesn't exist because there's no table that fits 15 people for $1,000 in any club. And second of all, you're going to spend $5,000 anyway because at $800 a bottle, if you drink 5 bottles, do the math.
Yep.
Plus the 40% tax gratuity service charge, it's not rocket science. So stop being suckered by saving.
Yep.
Tell me what you're going to spend. Tell me what you guys drink. If you tell me, Manny, I drink 1942. A bottle of 1942 is $1,500. So if you only drink 2 bottles and you're 10 guys, that's a $3,000 minimum. So if I tell you, hey, George, I'll give you a table for $2,000. Doesn't matter. You're going to spend 3, right?
Yep.
So it's understanding and educating people and saying, hey, pay attention. This is what you tell me what you want. I'll tell you the best way to get there.
Yeah. More sophisticated approach.
There's a lot of swindlers and everything, right? I mean, car insurance, Geico or Progressive.
Right.
It's all the same
There's
stuff.
options. Yeah, yeah.
There's options. Why do you choose one? Because of whatever personal preference.
Yeah.
Same with me. There's 100 hosts in Vegas. I'm not telling you that I am God's gift. I'm telling you I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to listen to you. And I'm going to give you my best advice. And I'm going to give you 13 years of Vegas experience and 20 years of hospitality experience.
Right.
And you decide.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm providing.
So, you know Vegas. Let me ask you this. If you as Manny going out with your lovely lady, where are you going for your favorite restaurant? Because you've been to every imaginable restaurant in Vegas, right?
I have.
Okay. Every hotel you've been in, you've probably seen rooms, all this stuff. So where are you going to eat? Where would you prefer to stay? Like what are your top?
I mean, it depends on the occasion. I'm a local, right? So I'm not going to the Strip to eat.
Rarely.
I'll only go there with clients.
Okay.
So like if my mom comes to visit me or my friends, we're not going to the casinos to eat.
Right.
Because you're paying a premium and why?
Why? Okay.
I have a favorite Thai place. It's called Lotus of Siam. So when I want Thai food, that's where I go eat.
Off the Strip.
Off the Strip.
Yeah.
I have a favorite Italian place. I have places that I love that I go to. Most of them are not on the Strip. Now with clients, it's a different story because they're coming for the experience.
Yep.
So if you say, hey Manny, where should I go with my wife and my friends? Okay, what's your cuisine? You say Italian. It's all right. Carbone, great option. It's very popular. Me, myself, I also love scarpetta.
Okay.
You know, it depends on what the occasion is. Is it a group of guys? Is it couples? Do you want scenery? Do you want more, people like a steakhouse. I'm like, well, what about STK? STK is great if you want to party. It's very loud. They have a DJ, high energy. If you want a high energy, that's great. STK, Poppy Steak, great. But if I go to dinner with my girl, I'm not going to go there because I want to talk to her.
Right.
Right? And if I go with another couple. So I'm going to go to the Cut at the Venetian because great food, but you don't have the DJ and it's not overbearingly loud.
Sure.
So it all depends on what you want. If you're like, hey man, with 10 guys or 6 guys, we want rowdy, Toca Madera, great restaurant.
Yeah.
Why, Manny? Because they have fire show, they have DJs, they have sax. So it gives you a lot, your senses are like, wow. But that's more for ambiance and a vibe. Mm-hmm. I can go there with my girl and I can also go there with my buddies. So what do you want?
So talk to us about clubs then as well, since you know everyone.
Clubs, it's all talent driven. Someone's going to be like, hey, I love Tiesto or I love Steve Aoki or I love the Chainsmokers. So if that's the case, we'll go where they are.
Okay.
But if you're looking for just a club, man, Omnia, gorgeous club.
Right.
Excess, beautiful club. The newest club in Vegas right now is Live. It's, great sound and lighting. So it all depends on what you're looking for.
And you have access to all these?
Yeah. Well, so everything. I have access to everything in Vegas.
So everything you're on that?
Everything I have access to. When you talk about hotel rooms, I'm lucky, man. I've got some of the biggest, wealthiest people in the world as clients. I've seen the $50,000 suites. But that's for the less than the 1%er. So me and you are not doing that, right?
Right.
So you tell me you're coming to Vegas. I tell you, okay, Cosmo, great. They have balconies. Beautiful.
Yep.
You know, Wynn has great rooms. It's a little bit more elegant, more sophisticated, right? Resorts World, beautiful hotel. It's a little bit younger. So what are you trying to accomplish?
Right.
Fontainebleau, gorgeous rooms.
How is that new place?
Gorgeous rooms. The rooms are beautiful. End of the strip. So if you're like, hey man, I want to walk around, then you're not going to go down. You're going to stay in the middle.
Yep.
Like I'm not walking around the strip. So when my friends come in, I ask them what your budget is and what you want. Because you can go to the Bellagio or Aria or even the MGM. MGM is massive. It's 5,600 rooms. So I personally will never stay there because I do staycations. It's just too big. There's just too many people going on there. I like the Cosmo. It's smaller. You know, the casino floor, you can get to where you want to go quickly, and it's beautiful.
It's great.
And I love the balcony. I love to be able to go there, get a room on a high floor, 30th, 40th floor, and just look out. It's gorgeous. You don't feel like you're
absolutely,
you know, in Vegas, where MGM, man, they got amazing suites, but boy, is that walk.
Yeah, it's a city.
And then it's a city. You walk into their casino floor, there's thousands of people. Conventions, this, that.
Absolutely.
So we customize it. And then I have clients that aren't gamers. They don't game. They don't gamble. Well, then why are you going to stay in a casino that's cigarette smokes and ding, 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 everywhere you go? Then you can stay at the Mandarin Oriental, which is now the Waldorf Astoria. Beautiful. No gaming. Great rooms. Vidara, which is part of the City Center next to Aria. They're great, but you don't have the casinos, the smoke, and you don't have all that noise, which means you don't have all that foot traffic. So, you know, those are great alternatives.
So it's not a one size fits all, right?
Of course not. You customize it.
Yeah.
If you want action, you're going to go here. If you want to just get a getaway, you're going to go there. So you got to customize it to what that person or what that group wants.
Absolutely.
Like, it's funny. The Saudis only stay at Wynn. They don't care. They only stay at Wynn. That's it. So it's not even a question. It's not even like, hey, that's where they're staying.
That's our opulence. They love that.
They love it. They've been there for years. You know, it's got the 5 diamond rating. That's what they want. Okay, cool. It's one less headache because I don't have to try to get you 5 options.
Right.
Like I have clients right now coming for the UFC fight. It's challenging because they're like, oh, I want a 2-bedroom suite with a view and with this and with that. And I want 5 options. Okay, it's this one, it's that one. When I know that you want the Wynn or you want Cosmo or you want Fontainebleau, perfect.
Cut to the chase. Yeah.
That's, you know what? Check. Let's go to the next item. But when I got to send you 5 hotels and 10 different room options and, oh, I like this, but I like that. You know, when you give people options, the more options you give them, the hardest. It's like us. When we go to a restaurant, right? If there's 10 items, we can decide in 30 seconds. When you go to a restaurant that has 4 pages, you're like, oh man, I like the pasta, but the steak sounds good. Oh man, they have sea bass.
Right.
And you're like, what do I get?
New York City diners, man. There's 40 pages.
Correct.
It
and
takes an hour.
Half an hour to figure out what you want, right? Like, I'll just take the burger.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. Like, when somebody tells me, I love this DJ, great. I don't have to sell you on this club versus that club. I'm going to give you the pricing. You're going to tell me what you guys normally spend, what you guys drink, how many people you are, and I'll get you the best for you.
Right.
And it makes life for everyone.
Dude, it's so cool getting this insight, and I feel like we could talk for hours. I want to cover 3 things because I know you got a flight to catch back to Vegas as well.
Okay.
This one's off. We got like 15 minutes. I don't want you to miss it, and you're yelling at me.
Great.
I want to talk about relationships in Vegas. I want to talk about your business endeavors. Like, you've diversified over the years and you've invested in brick and mortar and all this stuff. And then I also want to talk about NCAA D1 scholarships. Like, that's a pretty impressive thing. Let's actually start there. So out of high school, you had offers from 60 plus schools for D1 soccer.
Yeah.
Right. So just talk to us about that. I have kids. My daughter's wants to play D1 soccer already, like in her mindset, like just the fact that you were recruited for this sport, like that's incredible, man.
Yeah, but it's so different now. I mean, I'm aging myself, but I mean, now it's so easy. Back then it was not, it was letters in the mail and it was going on to do site tours. Now, you know, your kids can go online and look at everything and get, you know, 3D freaking tours.
Right.
Yeah, I was a very good soccer player growing up, and
that was your main sport in New York?
Yeah, I mean, I played basketball, but it's funny, I never like made varsity. Me and the high school basketball coach just didn't get along.
Yep.
Because I was a very rambunctious, outspoken soccer player, And he saw that and he was like, I'm not going to deal with this kid. And then I was 6 foot tall. It wasn't like I was like 6'5" and he had to take me. So I never made it to varsity, but I loved playing. I played basketball every day.
Right.
I was I probably got into more fights playing basketball than anything else growing up.
What part of New York did you grow up in?
Bayside and then Long Island, Huntington.
Okay.
So anyway, going back to your question, I got over 60 scholarships. It's funny because I ended up going to the Naval Academy, but my most prestigious school I thought was Dartmouth because it was an Ivy League school, and I got a full ride. My favorite school was Hawaii, so I'm like, I'm going to go to Hawaii.
Right.
And then the only thing that I regretted back then, which I don't regret now, was I got a full ride to St. John's. And I say that because the next year they ended up winning the championship.
No way.
So I'm like, man, in my home state, I could have been right there. But out of high school, I took the path less traveled. I decided to go into a service academy and I got waitlisted. So a little fun fact about the West Point, Air Force Academy, and the Naval Academy, they get anywhere from like 15 to 20,000 applications a year, but they only accept about 1,000 to 1,100 students a year.
Wow.
So when you get waitlisted, it's like a kiss of death. You most likely are not getting in. So at high school, I had all these scholarships, full rides, fun. I made a deal with my father. He's like, go to the service academy for 1 year, and if you don't like it, you go wherever you want, and I won't bother you. You have my blessing. I said, fine. So out of high school, I got waitlisted. I didn't get in.
Sorry, why did he want the service academy?
Because my girlfriend, when I was a junior, her father was a pilot. His co-pilot was an Air Force Academy recruiter. The dad was like, oh, my daughter's dating this, very big soccer player, blah, 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 blah. Look, his articles and, local press.
Yep.
So he got into my dad's head. You can go to the most prestigious schools in America for the Air Force Academy, which is in Colorado Springs.
Wow. Prestigious,
blah, 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 blah. It's free, and this and that, and your son will be an officer, and this and this. So we went to the Air Force Academy. They have a tournament called Pikes Peak Soccer Tournament. It's one of the biggest soccer tournaments in the country. I was the MVP of that tournament.
No, what position were you?
I was a center forward.
Oh, wow.
So I became a blue chip athlete for Air Force, which means I was like their highest recruited athlete status. But it was in Colorado Springs, which was a 3.5-hour flight from New York. So back then, junior year came, finished, and then we learned about the Naval Academy. Oh, it's in Maryland. It's a 4-hour drive.
Big difference.
I can go see my son play soccer, not have to fly. We went, so this campus, Air Force Academy, is just massive. And it's in Colorado Springs, mile high. Altitude sucks.
Yeah.
Playing soccer sucks. Annapolis, small, beautiful campus, on the water.
East Coast still,
Yeah, it's great. So my dad was like, I want you to go there. I'm like, okay, I'll go for a year.
You didn't butt heads up to that point? Like you respected?
No, I respect them. Like, okay, no problem. I'm like, I got all these rides. I can go wherever I want. After that year, I can do whatever I want. I'm like, I'm going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
So I got waitlisted. I ended up going to a prep school in Crestline, California. There's a specific school that helped get kids into the academies. So I went there. It's a semester, went back to New York, started working, and I started taking night classes, and I get waitlisted again.
How old are you now?
I just graduated high school the year before, so I was 19.
Oh, geez, okay.
So I get waitlisted again, and now like the New Yorker and the Greeks like, no, screw this. This is not going to happen. I drove up to Annapolis, and I went to the admissions building, and I was just walking around trying to find people. And this is one of the things where God was like, today's a good day. I walked by this desk, this office, and it said, Nick Pantelidis. I'm like, that's my guy. Greek.
Instant.
Wasn't there. So I walked around. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for this Pantelidis guy. Not here. I wrote down my phone number. I'm like, please, call me. I'm an applicant, blah, 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 blah. He called me. I spoke, told him my life story. You have to get congressional nomination, all this stuff. I had letters from my congressman. I had letters from my priest because I was very affluent in church. I was, had all my grades, all my stuff. I called his office every week. His secretary knew me by my voice.
Jeez.
My file went before the board 5 times. I got in 3 or 4 days before the semester started. And the funniest part was I get in, we're like ecstatic. And literally it was like a Thursday and we got a report on Sunday. And we start I-Day on Monday.
Oh my gosh.
the funniest part of all this is I got in. My dad called me like a week later, it's crazy because I'm there, and for 6 weeks, it's like a military summer camp. Like they're just drilling you, right? So you get like a call time on Sundays. You have a sponsor family. So you get to go to this family's house and spend like 3 hours just off of campus. 3 hours.
Okay.
I found a church in Maryland, Indianapolis, so I would go to church. So I'd spend 2 hours at church, spend an hour at my sponsor's house, and have to go back to school. Long story short, my first time getting to call the family, they called me. My dad goes, you know what I just got in the mail? What? I got your 8-week preparation for I-Day. They give you an 8-week plan to prepare you.
Come on.
For I-Day. I got in
3 days?
Yeah. So like, it's like workouts to do, how to prepare mentally. Like, I was dying. So yeah, I went there.
So it was your persistence of like just heckling this Pandeli, this guy.
Yes, begging. I'm like, I'm a blue chip athlete. I mean, come on, you guys need me.
But you had 59 other schools that you didn't need that strength.
I didn't have to do anything.
Come on, man.
And the crazy part is, I make it, I get in. I finished my first semester. My father passed away that December, my first semester.
Jesus.
I go back, I finish the year, then I leave. That year is probably one of the hardest years of my life because I'm not a military guy. I don't come from a military family. Taught me a lot. I did a lot of growing up, losing my father, going back, completing the year, all the stuff around that. So anytime people are like, oh, you know, you're so lucky, I'm like, you have no idea what I've been through. I had to grow up at 19 years old.
Which is probably the toughest to lose a father when you're...
And again, just remember, 6 months prior, I have all the scholarships in the world. I can go play sports, have fun. I have never had a college experience. I didn't go to a fraternity. Right. I didn't get drunk. Like I went to the military.
Jeez.
Right? So, but I think it was a building block that helped get me to where I am. Totally. And we don't got to, go down the rabbit hole too much, but
yeah.
I'm still friends with a lot of those classmates to this day. Some of them are captains in the Navy. Some of them were in the Marine, like flying helicopters. Some of them are working at the Pentagon. It's incredible. And they all follow me on Facebook. I follow them. They're like, Manny, we love your life. I'm like, bro, you're on an aircraft carrier. Right. Like you're leading like 15, 20,000 soldiers. And the other guy's like, I'm like, you're a helicopter pilot. You're an Apache pilot. Like, you're envious of me because I'm going to a nightclub and a pool party. The grass always greener.
It's always greener, man.
My college roommate during plebe summer he was a extremely brilliant, like valedictorian. We would have said it when we were kids, like a nerdy guy.
Yep.
Right? I was like the jock because I was a soccer player. This kid, now this man, is a super Spartan, tough mudder, like, this beast. And I'm like, bro, you are the freaking man. Like you were like the nerdy guy and I was like the tough kid. And now I'm sitting here like working my ass off and you're traveling the country, traveling the world. Like, oh, I just ran 26 miles and swam 3. I'm like, who are you?
Yeah, David Goggins style.
Seriously.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's incredible to see it, but we're still friends, you know? And a couple of the guys have come to Vegas. Every year there's the Army-Navy game. So I've gone to a couple of them and I'll link up with some of the guys.
Right.
One of the guys that I looked up to when I was there was a SEAL. So we hang out.
Come on.
And it's like, man, it's just so cool that this was in 97 and we're in 2024. We're about to be 30 years later and we still have those relationships.
That's incredible.
So it's so cool.
So let me ask you.
We can go 5 minutes over because I know you want to.
No. So really quick, and then again, sorry to hear even about your father and all that.
I mean, it's part of life. There's nothing we can do.
Talk to me really quick. Relationships. You have access. You come in front of the most beautiful women in the country. From the outside looking in, like always respectful, like professional. You're always surrounded by big groups. So you never put out there what your relationship status is. How is it dating in Vegas? Did you have fun all these years? Even though your girlfriend's in the other room right now.
I've had fun. The thing is, I've had fun, but I've been very lucky that my girlfriends have always been wonderful human beings. I've been very lucky to find great women. Vegas is the land of access. Vegas is a land of opportunity because it's there.
Right.
Right? I mean, Every place you go, restaurants, bars, clubs, the staff, stunning. Yep. Like they're all models.
Top notch.
They won't get a job otherwise. You don't go there and see some, unattractive, fat, or super, whatever. That's just the nature of the beast, right? Yep. So they're surrounded by beauty. I have a lot of female friends in Vegas over the years that are wonderful. I've been single for a lot of time, but I've been very lucky in love where my girlfriends have always been great human beings. Most of them don't, like in life, it doesn't work out for one reason or another, but I can call pretty much any one of them anytime now.
Still good relationship.
I'm invited to two of their weddings. So yeah, that's awesome. Because it wasn't, you're bad, I'm bad. It was, we're not meant to be for whatever reason.
Yep.
We're not compatible. Like I said, my girlfriend's in the other room. I'm very lucky. I found an amazing woman. So I've been very lucky in love and relationships. But I also think it's because I've always been, my mom did a great job raising me, and I've always been very confident and respectful, and I've always treated people with respect. Now, I'm not perfect. I'm a man. I make mistakes. I'm flawed, but I've always tried to do the best that I can.
Right.
And I think in life, whether it's relationships or even in business, if you don't try to screw somebody over, you're in a good place. Yeah. Because I'm going to piss you off sometimes. You're going to piss me off. I might make a mistake. But if you don't do it maliciously or intentionally, that's what matters. There are people that are bad people in this world. They want to hurt you. They want to get over on you. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of those people, but I'm far from perfect.
Yeah.
So, and I own that, right? I make mistakes, but I've been very, very lucky in the relationship department.
That's awesome, man.
I'm very, very lucky.
That's awesome. Next podcast we're going to do in Vegas, and we're going to talk about the politics side really quick. Business endeavors other than your VIP hosting concierge service.
Yeah, I've dabbled in a lot of stuff. So I'm an investor actually in California in a couple of sports bar restaurants.
Cork and Batter?
Yeah, Cork and Batter, and the other one's Third Base. Cork and Batter, we're blessed. We're 200 feet from Intuit Dome, which is opening up end of this month in June.
That's insane.
So we've been doing really well, but now it's just about to take off.
Good for you, man.
I'm very excited about my new projects. I'm currently invested in working on two projects. One is an app called Fly Me Out. It's incredible. The founder is a fellow Greek. Our families have known each other for decades, both New Yorkers. So he and my sister were talking about this app that he created. And she's like, you got to talk to Manny about it. So he reached out to me about 6 months ago now. He's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. And I loved it. It's a travel app where it's an invite only membership. So you have to be invited, and you join and you become a member. And once you become a member, you can host trips. So, example, me, you, and a couple of people, we want to go to Mykonos this summer. Well, if I go with you, what do? We get a hotel room and we do our thing. But if it's a group of us, now we're going to get a villa. And now we're going to get a boat. And so it's an opportunity for like-minded individuals to connect and travel and create experiences.
So it's not a dating app?
It's not a dating app. Okay. But it's funny because we just got picked up. We just started doing ads on social media, and Barstool Sports picked us up and did a TikTok, and it was so funny and so awesome. But he was like, "Oh, this is like the super new dating app." It's not a dating app, but you know what they say? All publicity is good publicity.
Absolutely.
That one TikTok got like 30,000 reposts. Last time I saw it was like 8,000 comments. It got us so much visibility that it's awesome. So thank you, Barstool. But we're not a dating app, but it is LinkedIn meets Airbnb meets exclusivity of like a Raya. Amazing. So you have to join and become a member, and then you get access to these trips. And our members are professional athletes, CEOs, average Joes, influencers with millions of followers, all genres from all over the world. So it's a very diverse, it's so cool because it's just about creating memories and trips with like-minded individuals. But it's important to note, it's not a dating app. This is for group trips. So it's never like a one-on-one. It's for groups to connect. It could be couples, it could be guys and whatever, but it's super cool. So I'm excited about that because I love to travel and the growth aspect of it is cool. And there's nothing like it.
It's live now. Fly Me Out.
Yeah, Fly Me Out is live now.
On the App Store.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So it's
That's
incredible.
Exciting, man. That sounds exciting.
You got to check it out. It's so amazing. We do like influencer trips. So we just did one this past weekend in Nashville. There's a Barbie hotel. So we had these like 20 influencers go down there, have a weekend experience to promote this new property. So there's just so many different things that But the reality is it's based on travel and creating memories.
Which is your passion.
Which I love. That's what I do whenever I can. I love to travel the world.
Absolutely.
And the other company, another family friend, I invest in people more than I invest in things. This other family friend, he opened up a sports memorabilia store in Greece, in Thessaloniki. And in a little over 3 years, he's made it the biggest store in all of Europe. It's called Trace and Chase.
Trace and Chase.
Trace and Chase. And what's amazing is, a little over 3 years, Greeks and Europeans, we're not really sports collectors, memorabilia. He's built this amazing business. And so what he wants to do now, what we're doing is we're opening up stores in the US. So I've invested. I'm also going to help with marketing. We want to open up 3 stores, one in Metro New York, one in Dallas, and one in Vegas, and just continue to build a brand. I mean, what Panini and Fanatics are doing are incredible. I mean, Michael Rubin is a genius, and what he's building is just incredible. I don't even know how the man keeps up, because
it's not normal.
Forget about a juggernaut. I mean, what they're doing is incredible. The growth, how quickly he's done it, and he just, he's taken over league contracts now, which is amazing to see. He's brilliant, but that trickles down to stores being able to keep that ideology. And, you have 3 girls. They might want to go, they play soccer. Maybe they want a Messi jersey. You want to be able to go, take them to a store and have this great experience. You don't want to just do it online, right? So the idea is to open up these stores in the US and continue to build a brand. And it's fascinating because with my relationships that we talked about in sports.
Oh my God.
I have a lot of them.
Yeah. Natural fit.
Yeah. And they're all either collectors or they know it because they sign, they do stuff. So it's very exciting to me because I love to make money like everyone else. I love sports and I'm doing something with a friend.
That's amazing.
So it's so cool that I'm invested in 2 things with family friends, brilliant individuals. Everyone's like, well, you're cutting a check, so they're lucky. I'm like, no. I'm lucky because they created something. Yeah. And I'm getting a chance to add value and grow with them.
With your influence, with your mindset, with everything.
And these companies are going to blow up with or without me. I'm just lucky to be along the ride, and I get to diversify, so I don't have to run around in clubs.
Dude, I wish you continued success with that. That's incredible.
Thank you. It's fly me out. You're going to see in the next 6 months, it's going to be everywhere. It is the amount, no marketing, like literally $20 a day in marketing. Yeah. $20 a day.
That's it.
It's crazy.
I mean, Barstool, that's like the
people pay those guys God knows how much money, and they did it for free. Like they literally found the ad and just did a TikTok.
That's amazing, man.
And it's crazy because this happened last week. I still get people texting me like, oh my God, I just saw this TikTok. I'm like, I don't even have TikTok.
That's crazy.
So I literally didn't have it. So I couldn't see it. I had to find a friend who had it, who could they had to do a screen share to send it to me. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, I saw Ellen post that. Yeah. Speaking of TikTok, best way to get in contact with you, the Kess Group?
Online. I mean, my Instagram at Manny Kess, but or www.thekessgroup.com. Yes, please contact us if you have any needs. And it's not just for Vegas. Again, people want to, we get hit up for F1 Miami. We get hit up for, I said, the Oscars. Any major sporting event, anything that's hard to get into, right? We have access. I mean, I just yesterday I went to the Solomon show that was here, and people were like, oh, I couldn't get a table. I'm like, that's easy for us to do. So any event that's hard to get into, anything that's exclusive, Met Gala, we have access
to the Met Gala.
Yeah, we send clients there every year, so we can help, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, I have athletes that went to F1 in Monte Carlo, and they're like, where do we start? I got you.
Come on.
Yacht, tickets, the whole nine. Like, where to go, what restaurants we eat, which the top clubs. We do it.
Dude, by the way, we're doing the new F1 store in Caesars. It's a new bar restaurant going in there. Dude, you're at the top of the game. Like, honestly, I appreciate you sitting down.
No, thanks for your time.
And we could chat for hours, man. You're amazing.
Yeah, I'd love it.
Don't miss your flight. I don't want you pissed off on me. Let's go,
yes.
baby.
Thank you so much. Really loved it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Invigorate Your Business with George Stroumboulis. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons and follow me on all the main podcast streaming channels. Also, please share your comments when you can. I appreciate your help in expanding this network to a worldwide audience. Until next time, stay invigorated.